Mouxy is a commune in the Savoie department in the Rhône-Alpes region in southeastern France. Geography. Dominated by Mount Revard, the town of Mouxy is located on the heights above Aix-en-Provence, to which it is adjacent. It is also part of the collective community of Lake Bourget. The important nearby towns of Annecy to the north, and Chambéry to the south, are located at distances as the crow flies of 28.9 kilometers and 12.5 kilometers, respectively. Neighboring towns. Mouxy is bordered by 4 municipalities: Puny-Châteauneuf on the north, Drumotaz-Clarifond on the south, Aix-les-Bains on the east, and Les Déserts on the west. Many localities make up the collective community, such as Chenoz, Monticovy, Le Croix-Balmeau, Le Cret, Le Faubourg, Le Biolet, and Le Mentons. The town is 628 hectares in area. The elevations range over almost 1,200 meters, from 349 to 1,530 meters. The lowest point lies at the edge of Aix-en-Provence to the south of the town. The high point is the top of Mount Revard. Downtown is located at an elevation of about 405 meters. The municipality overlooks Lake Bourget, the largest natural lake in France, and offers a view of the surrounding peaks, including the Croix du Nivelet, the Chartreuse Massif, Mount Granier, and the Cat's Tooth. It extends from the Aix-en-Provence plain to the Massif of Bauges. The population density decreases as you approach Mount Revard. Indeed, some places are absolutely vertical, without access, and unbuildable. Geology. The particular geology of the area surrounding Aix-en-Provence, including Mouxy, was the subject of a study published in December 2009. This study focuses on the geological evolution of the scene surrounding Aix-en-Provence to explain the peculiarity of the local thermal system, and is entitled, "The Influence of Paleoclimatic Events on the Functioning of an Alpine Thermal System, Contribution of Modeling Thermal Hydrodynamic." Terrain of the municipality consists of glacial alluvium with the Urgonian limestone formation in the locality. Climbing up the slopes of the Bauges Massif, there are several types of rocks and limestone marl, but above all, the Urgonian limestone formation is largely found near the Revard and in almost all of the Massif. History. The evolution of the commune is marked by the history of Aix-les-Bains, and in particular the importance of Lake Bourget and the hot springs of the city of Aix that always made Aix-les-Bains a showplace of therapeutic mineral bathing. One can also say, more generally, that the history of Mouxy is closely linked to that of the department of Savoie. Neolithic in antiquity, the site was inhabited since the Neolithic era. Indeed, some sedentary farming communities settled in the plains and the great valleys of average altitude. The first real phase of occupation by people was observed from deposits at organic geological levels preserved at Saint-Pierre-de-Courtel. The area was then occupied by the people of the Allobroges. The area of the Allobroges was occupied by the Roman legions following the victory in 121 BCE. By 443, the Roman general Aetius had ceded Sarpaudia, the Latin name of present-day Savoie, to a German people, the Burgundians. Middle Ages. Mouxy was a parish Mouxy ecclesia, which depended on the priory of Clarifond according to an Act of 1344. During this period, a new church dedicated to St. John the Greater was built. Previously, the Mouxy area depended on either the priory of St. Paul or St. Hippolyte in Aix. The parish was subsequently attached to the priory of Aix in the 16th century. We learn that the priest of the church, in 1340, offered to the bishop during his pastoral visit a stipend of 9 florins. In 1494, the income of the parish priest worth was estimated to be 50 guilders. The church did not originally have an image of its patron saint, or other object of worship. By 1678 it had relics of St. James, St. Alexis and the True Cross. The village of Mouxy had about 30 households in 1494 and 1497. In the following century, proceeds to 42 households and 440 communicants. There were 420 communicants in 1667. The number subsequently continued to reach approximately 300 inhabitants, of whom 220 communicants in 1729. Contemporary celebration of the annexation of Savoie to France in 1860. In 1860, the period of the unification of Italy led to the question of the future of the Duchy of Savoy. The latter was part of a transaction between the King of Piedmont Sardinia, Victor Emmanuel I of Sardinia, and the Emperor of the French, Napoleon III. Following the Treaty of Turin, which saw the annexation of Savoy by France, Mouxy became as throughout the territory of the Duchy, henceforth now French. World War II. On June 10, 1940, Mussolini declared war on France. Savoie was caught in a vice. The fighting with Italy began in the Alps. The Italian army of 22 divisions and 321,000 men, commanded by Crown Prince Umberto of Savoy and General Alfredo Guzzoni, occupied the Petit Saint Bernard and the Mont Cenis sectors. Against this force, 185,000 men of French General René Elrey managed to resist. In the valley, the Germans crossed the Rhône in Colos and entered Aix and its surrounding towns and villages. Chambéry had not yet fallen. The signing of the 22nd of June 1940 armistice ended fighting. A second armistice with Italy was signed June 24, which provided for Italy's occupation of Haute-Tarentaise and the demilitarization of the border. This situation was to become explosive for the entire department. Important dates: January 1, 1943, the Italians occupied all of Savoy. They controlled the Franco-Swiss border. April 16, 1943, complete closure of the Franco-Swiss border from April 16 to May 3, 1943. September 1943, a roundup of Jews by the Gestapo occurred in Chambéry. German troops invaded Savoy. The end of the war. August 21, 1944, Aix and its surroundings were liberated. The occupiers surrendered to the encircling forces beginning at 23:30. A departmental committee of liberation and resistance movements was established, and Lucien Rose became prefect. In the aftermath of the Second World War, the territory was disrupted. Many territorial changes occurred in the 1950s and mainly during the Trente Glorieuses. These changes resulted in the construction of new housing, and as a result, development of urban life in still rural areas. Later, in the context of sustainable development, in 1995 the Rhône-Alpes region developed regional natural parks enhanced by the Massif des Bauges, Mont Revard, and its influence in the 20th century. Mouxy connects the valley of Aix-les-Bains to the mountain. The Revard ski station in 1908 was the first ski resort in France, which participated actively in the construction of infrastructure of transport through Mouxy to carry skiers to the summit, and this until in 1969. Mouxy thus had two stations. Demographic growth. Like its peripheral communes, Mouxy has had a strong increase in population since the 1930s, particularly in the 1980s. At the departmental level, the rural exodus has been pronounced. The main points at the departmental level are the increase in the size of the cities, a location in the heart of important communication routes, and the creations of universities such as Technolac,